Hey you guys, what's up? It's Rocketos54 here, and welcome to the 10th episode of Criterion Roulette. Wow, 10 episodes already. Wow, it was almost exactly a year and a half ago today that I started this series, because the first episode of Criterion Roulette was uploaded on February 25th, 2021, and as of recording this clip, it is August 27th, 2022. Yeah, now we're finally at 10 episodes. I know that it's been like when I do these, because I kind of like space them out, because this is kind of an expensive they're always expensive videos to do because I have to buy the Criterions. And yeah, so and the thing is, I only have two of the Criterions right now. Hopefully the third one comes soon, because the third one I ordered it, but I like Amazon said right away that they were out of stock and that they would like ship it when it comes back into stock. So I really hope it'll be soon, because I really want to get this episode out and I really want to watch the film. We got a good batch of titles up here for this Criterion Roulette. I'm very, very excited. So tonight we are going to start off with the one I chose for myself, because if you've never seen an episode of Criterion Roulette before, I choose three films from the Criterion Collection, one that I choose for myself, one that a friend chooses for myself, and then I put all the spine numbers into a random number generator, and I get a spine number and then pick that one. So I'm going to start off with the one that I have chosen for myself, and that is Being John Malkovich, released in 1999, directed by Spike Jonze. Now, Spike Jonze actually has only ever directed 5 films in his entire career, which probably doesn't sound correct to you, but it's actually true. I know he's been involved with a lot of stuff. Like, he got, like, his start. Pretty sure he got his start, like, directing skate videos, and then that got him to direct the Beastie Boys' Sabotage music video. And then he ended up directing like a bit more music videos, and then he was involved in a lot of like he produced a lot of films, because if you look at his directing filmography and then his producing filmography is much larger. But yeah, this was his first feature film, and I've seen 3 other Spike Jonze films. I've seen Adaptation, which I really liked, Where the Wild Things Are, which I also really liked, and I've seen Beastie Boys Story, which I also really liked. So all the other ones I've seen I really liked. Like, Adaptation was quite good. It was pretty weird. I need to see it again to like fully grasp what it was going for, because it's said that it's a comedy. I didn't really see it as very much of a comedy, but I thought it was a really good movie, very entertaining. It's pretty relatable too. If you've ever tried, like, if you're the type of person who's ever tried writing a film, you'll definitely be able to relate to it. And Nicolas Cage's performance in it was really, really great. Loved his performance in that. And then Where the Wild Things Are was a very, very good movie too. It was an interesting look into like, the mind of a kid, like actually going to like this fantasy land. Like, it's like every kid's dream, but then the movie is also a lot more adult than it seems on the surface, despite it being rated PG. Very good movie. And then Beastie Boys Story was really, really good. It was a different kind of documentary, because it was like a live documentary that Ad Rock and Mike D were doing like in front of a crowd, and there was a lot of really great things that I didn't know about the band before. I just loved hearing them talk about the music and their story. The touching tribute to MCA, rest in peace, one of the best rappers of all time, really. There's some really, really funny parts in it too. I really, really liked Beastie Boys Story a lot, but this was his first feature film. So I hope I'll really like this. I mean, who knows? Maybe it'll be my favorite Spike Jonze film. I mean, at the moment, this is my favorite thing that Spike Jonze has ever been a part of. But anyway, so yeah, we're gonna take a look inside here, then pop it in and see how it is. All right, so there is the front and the spine and the back. And then if we open it up, there's the disc, and then the booklet that's in here, and then the image behind everything. It's like one of those like ink blot images. There we go. But yeah, so let's pop this in and see how it is. I also don't even know what genre this even is. I don't know if it's a comedy or if it's a drama. I'm pretty sure I heard it was a comedy, but I guess we'll find out in a sec. So yeah, let's pop this in, see how it is. All right, you guys, so I just finished watching Being John Malkovich, and I loved this movie. This is my favorite Spike Jonze movie now. I think before it probably would have. Honestly, I think it probably would have been Beastie Boys' Story was my favorite. This is my favorite now. This was such a bizarre, strange experience that is one of the greatest spectacles I've ever seen. This movie was so nuts and so cool and so strange and so weird and works so well. I really would have loved to have seen audience reactions to this back in 1999 because I feel like Spike Jonze would have just completely made everyone go, what in the world is this? Like, when you think of those films that, you normally would think, oh, people are gonna hate this is too weird, and then they end up like most audiences end up really liking them. This is one of those ones that I think most people will think of. But I also have to think because Spike Jonze, as I said earlier, he I'm pretty sure he was kind of a known name for directing music videos, I think. So I'm just maybe thinking did people maybe come to the theater seeing his name attached to it going, oh, this is the guy that directs music videos. Let's see how he directs a movie. And then you see this, and then it's what the hell? This movie is absolutely crazy, and it's great. Like, John Cusack was great in this. I didn't even know that was him until the end credits. I knew he looked familiar. I just didn't know who exactly it was. Catherine Keener was great, and Cameron Diaz was really, really good in this movie. I still think that her best performance is probably The Box, honestly, but this is a very close second. And interestingly enough, Catherine Keener ended up getting nominated for an Oscar for this movie, and don't get me wrong, she was good, but I think if you were gonna nominate, somebody for an Oscar, it should have been Cameron Diaz. I thought she was probably the best performance in the movie, and of course, John Malkovich himself was great too. There's really no other way to describe this other than it's just so absolutely nuts, and it's a great movie, super entertaining, very engaging, just directed and written incredibly well. As I said, back in 1999, an incredibly strange movie, obviously. So it's it's strange movies are not that uncommon these days because people have just sort of embraced the weird side. I feel like people didn't really embrace weirdness back when this first came out, but it got I'm pretty sure it got great reviews right away. This was nominated for 3 Oscars: Best Supporting Actress for Catherine Keener, Best Director, and Best Original Screenplay. But yeah, so as I said, loved this a lot. I would highly, highly recommend it. I would give this an easy 4 out of 5. It's great. I think I might have liked the first half more than the second, but still a very engaging movie that I think is honestly kind of an essential. If you're wanting to get into film, this is one that is a must watch. I'm actually kind of surprised and a bit mad that it took me this long to see this when this is one of those ones because I finally watched The Royal Tenenbaums for the first time 2 years ago, and I remember after I finished watching that, I was pretty mad at myself for not watching it sooner because that's also one that's absolutely essential to watch if you're a cinephile. Kind of the same with Hausu and Pink Flamingos, and Salo. It's these are ones that every cinephile has to watch because they're just they're absolutely essential. Even if you hate them, it's just ones that are they're so well known and so important in filmmaking that you just have to see them. But as I said, this movie's great. 4 out of 5. Please watch it if you haven't. You will not regret it. I loved this thing a lot. But yeah, so I will hopefully watch the second film tomorrow, and again, really, really hope. I'm just trying to put it out there in the world that the third Criterion will come soon. As of filming this, I haven't gotten an email that is shipped yet, but I really hope it'll come soon. But yeah. So see you guys in a couple seconds when I will be watching the second film for this episode. Alright, you guys, so it is now a couple days after watching Being John Malkovich, and I'm going to be continuing with the second film for this episode of Criterion Roulette. This is the random spine number one, and that film is The Worst Person in the World, released in 2021, directed by Joachim Trier. This is a film that was very highly critically acclaimed from last year, and I remember hearing about it, and everybody was saying it was really, really amazing, and I was looking forward to seeing it, but I just never got around to it. I think like when it came to my list of ones to watch last year, I just had other stuff I wanted to watch more. And I was eventually going to see this at some point, and then I remember getting the email that Criterion was putting this out, and this is a recent Criterion edition because I drew the random spine number because I think as of this moment, at least out of all the ones that I know have come out, there's 1138 films in the Criterion collection. So I did random number generator 1 through 1138, and it drew 1132, which is this one. Because I remember when I saw that number, I'm like, wait a minute, I was like, don't I already have that one? Because I thought it was the spine number for Pink Flamingos. No, this is one spine number ahead of Pink Flamingos. So yeah, so I'm very, very excited to watch this. It is a Norwegian film with English subtitles. Yeah, so I don't really know anything about this. I just hope it's really, really good. As I said, the reviews were very, very high. So I'm hoping that I'll enjoy this. But yes, we're gonna take a look inside here and then pop it in and see how it is. All right, so here's a look at the Criterion. I like the artwork and colors on this. I love how the blue like really pops, and then there's the spine and the back, and then open it up and there's the disc, and this, and like look at how the blue pops in here. Like, oh my god, look at that. Like the bright blue right there. I really like the look of that. And then there's the inside artwork. I'm sure the significance of these images will be explained once I watch the film, but yeah, I'm excited to watch this, so let's pop it in and see how it is. Alright, you guys, so I just finished watching The Worst Person in the World, and I loved this movie. This was a really, really, really good movie. The performances were really, really good. The screenplay was absolutely excellent. I don't quite remember if the screenplay was nominated for an Oscar. Okay, it says on the back that the movie was nominated for an Oscar. If I'm not mistaken, it was nominated for international film and original screenplay and maybe score or cinematography. I don't remember, but that's the thing. The screenplay in this was absolutely fantastic. Like it was so well written and so engaging. It always knew how to keep you interested. The cinematography was absolutely beautiful. Like the locations are just so inviting and just real. Like the shots just bring those locations to life. Like you really feel like you're there, like with them. Like you really feel like you're in this like beautiful Norwegian landscape. It's just amazing. Not to mention the film's tone is like very interesting. It's like, it is like a drama, but it's like not a too terribly heavy drama. It kind of for most of the movie it has like, it is a drama and you can tell it's a drama, but has kind of a light tone throughout it. Parts of it in terms of vibe almost felt like the Before trilogy crossed with Blue is the Warmest Color. But yeah, it could almost be classified as like a comedy drama because it carries kind of a light tone throughout. And by the way, like, because as I said, like it could be classified as like a comedy drama. Best drug trip scenes since the Jump Street movies. I am not kidding. Oh my god, my jaw was on the floor. This movie's great. Oh my god, this was a great movie. I really loved this. I will say one gripe I had with this, and this is something I'm pretty pissed off about actually, is how the movie ends. I'm not going to get into spoilers, but it was stupid of them to include an epilogue. They should have just cut that part out completely. Like it actually like because where this movie ends before the epilogue is it's amazingly done. The direction and like just how it like it'll hit you hard. Like how the movie ends like before the epilogue will really hit you hard. Like I haven't had an ending to a film hit me like that since The King of Staten Island. Like that ending is just so great. Like when the music kicks in and just like what you're seeing just man, that's just it's just a great ending. And then they decide to ruin it by putting an epilogue at the end. Because where the movie ends before that is just like that would have been just such a perfect way to end it and just leave an emotional hit in the viewer. And then they decide to just put the epilogue at the end and it just completely screws that up. Like they should have just removed that epilogue completely. I think it was a stupid idea for them to put it in there. But regardless, amazing movie. Really liked this a lot. I really highly recommend this. I feel like this is one that a lot of people will enjoy. You know, I really would like to see like other people's reactions to the drug trip scene because it's something else, let me tell you. But yeah, no, I really love this film. I would give it a 4 out of 5. It's really good. Yeah, so I don't know when I'll be seeing you guys next because as of recording this, my third Criterion has not yet shipped, and I'm really hoping that I will get that soon because I really do want to finish this episode, and I'm looking forward to the third film I'm going to be watching. So I don't know when I'll see you guys yet, but hopefully it'll be soon when I watch the third and final episode, when I watch the third and final film for this episode of Criterion Roulette. Alright guys, so it has now been like quite a while since I did the last film for this episode of Criterion Roulette, and now we are finally going to be continuing with the third film for this episode, and that is going to be Travis Scott's Astroworld. Who the hell was that guy? And why is my copy of Astroworld missing? Okay. Anyway, guys, finally, about a week and a half later, after I finished the second film for this episode of Criterion Roulette, I am now going to be watching the third and final film for the episode. This is the one that my friend John recommended to me, and this is actually not the first one he recommended for this episode, because the original one that I ordered, they were out of stock, but they said, like, you know, we'll ship it to you when we get it in. They sent me an email recently saying anywhere between September 26th to October 6th, so I'm like, yeah, I'm not waiting that long to put this episode of Criterion Roulette out. So yeah, I got John to choose another film for me. I'm excited to watch this one. I'm pretty sure I've heard the name before, but I don't know a whole lot about it. But that film is The Night of the Hunter, released in 1955, directed by Charles Laughton. I don't know too much about this, as I said. I know that Charles Laughton was a very big actor back in that time, and this was actually the only film he ever directed, and my friend John was telling me that, this wasn't well received when it first came out, which was kind of the reason why it was the only film he directed. Um, but yeah, all I really know is that this is a horror movie and it's from the 50s, so hopefully it's good. Um, you know, I feel like the last 50s film I saw was actually one for Criterion Roulette, which was A Face in the Crowd, which I really liked a lot. But yeah, so now I'm going to throw you over to John, who is going to give a brief explanation as to why he picked this film for the episode. Then we're going to take a look inside here and then pop it in and see how it is.
Hey Liam, what's up? Thanks for picking me for this episode of Criterion Roulette. The Night of the Hunter by Charles Laughton. This is a very interesting film. It is the only film that Charles Laughton directed. He is a man who is quite well versed in theater acting and film acting before he made this film. It's a film that was not well received when it came out and was only given its due well after he had given up making films. This is why it was the only film he made. It is quite interesting as far as American cinema goes, if you want to boil it down to its basic elements. I can't really say much other than that because I don't want to spoil it, but it is a very unique film. It is also shot very well. The performance by Robert Mitchum is just amazing. Definitely one of his greatest films. And I think it's an awesome film, so I hope you enjoy it. Let me know what you think. Thanks.
All right, thank you, John, for that explanation. So this is how the thing looks. This is the front and the spine. I like the color of the spine there. And then there's the back. And this is kind of a bit of a heavier Criterion in a normal case because there's actually two discs in here. The first disc has the movie and most of the special features. And then the second disc here has, I think it's just, what does it have? It says on the back here. So it looks like there's a new conversation and I guess a 2.5 hour collection of outtakes and behind the scenes footage. So that's pretty cool that like it has like two discs in here, and then there's the booklet that's included with it, and then there's the image on the inside. So I honestly thought that Do the Right Thing was the first one to have done this, but I guess I was wrong, seeing as how this film came out 34 years before that, but still a very cool image for the inside. But yeah, so I'm excited to watch this. Hopefully it'll be pretty good. Let's pop it in and see how it is. Alright, you guys, so I just finished watching The Night of the Hunter, and I really liked this film a lot. Like, I can see why some people might say this isn't a horror film, because there are parts of it that don't feel like a horror film, but I think if films like It's a Wonderful Life are any indication, films of around this time period, they weren't always the most consistent in their genre or their vibe. But like overall, like as a whole, this definitely is a horror film, and it's a pretty good one, I'd say. Robert Mitchum gave a really great performance. The two kid actors were really, really good as well. It's directed incredibly well. Like it's very, very well shot, and like there's some pretty tense scenes in here that could honestly rival a lot of films of today of a similar kind of a story because like I don't want to give too much away, but this is a film that I feel like was kind of ahead of its time. Like I feel like there wasn't a whole lot of films out like this in 1955 or like before that. And it was, it's a story that we've seen a lot like in modern times, but as I said, I don't think you would have seen it that much in like of around the time this came out, but some very, very tense scenes that are very well directed. As I said earlier, there are some parts that don't really feel like a horror film. So I do wish it was a bit more consistent in like showing a bit more of the horror, because the horror stuff is the best stuff in the movie, definitely. But I will say also that there are some like 1950s tropes that have not aged well that are in this. It doesn't like ruin the movie by any means, but it will make you will notice them. To give an example, there's like some, because I think I've seen this in other films of around this time as well, where it's like it shows like a character like running after people and like running after two of the other characters, and like the two characters are running away kind of slow, and you can tell that the actors like he wants to like try and get them, but like he's like running as slow as they are, like so that it's kind of like I don't know, like again, I don't want to say too much. Like I don't want to really like give any indication as to what something might be away, but you'll understand what I mean. It's like when two characters are running up the stairs, you'll understand what I'm talking about if you watch it, but you know, it just doesn't look natural is what I'm trying to say. Some of the scenes, but nevertheless, still a very good film. I'm interested to check out some of the special features. I at first heard that because of the negative reviews that Charles Laughton vowed to never direct another film again, but I then read that apparently that's not entirely true, that Charles Laughton really just preferred to direct in the theater instead. But as I said, maybe the special features will clear some of that up. But I really like this film. I would definitely give it a watch. It's very good. I would definitely recommend it. I would probably give this a 3.5 out of 5. Really enjoyed it. Thank you very much, John, for the recommendation. And yeah, so that brings this episode of Criterion Roulette to a close. I hope you guys enjoyed. I always have a good time making these. This was one of the best episodes yet, I think. Definitely some of the most consistent in terms of quality for the films I've done for this episode. But anyway, guys, that's going to be it for this video. Subscribe for more content. Please leave a like on the video if you enjoyed, and remember, you guys, whenever traveling through mines, say no to drugs.